Good afternoon and welcome to NYCryptoTalk. Today's ICO review that I'm going to be going over is called Giftcoin. So I have done a couple of ICO reviews. A lot of them have been IT based, structural infrastructure, things that are going to be technologically advancing our society. But one thing that I haven't really hit on, because, with the blockchain, there are so many aspects to it. I think I hit a little bit on it when I discussed the ontology. Obviously, it wasn't an ICO, but with the ontology trust platform, there are some social changes where I think blockchain is definitely going to benefit a lot of organizations out there. And one of those is called Giftcoin. So Giftcoin is basically a way of changing the way we donate. Basically, charitable giving, being able to have full view of our spendings for all our donations that we do throughout the year. So obviously this is a big social change. There is a huge market right now where they're saying it's about $500 billion per year of charitable donations. Yet when it comes down to rating how people trust these charities, it's at an all-time low. So nonprofits, charities, they could be getting revenues up to $500 billion per year. But how much is actually getting spent? What is the overhead? Where is the money actually going? Because it is always a nice thing to know. And especially with blockchain, which is what they're trying to do, is improve visibility into transactions. So for Giftcoin, it is improving the transactions and making the visibility of your money, your charitable donations, making sure they're being used for what you want them to be used for. So with Giftcoin, they are working with a charity checkout, which is basically an organization that has about 2,000 charities right now, and they will be working on building the Giftcoin platform into it, allowing some of these large, small, and nonprofit organizations to utilize the Giftcoin platform. And there are some cool videos here. This is just ICO Bench, just to kind of show you, what their rating is, and just a little bit of a idea about the actual ICO. So for the ICO itself, there is a soft cap of $25 million and a hard cap of $100 million. And I'll go into the statistics of that when I get to the white pages and to the website. So generally what they're looking to do and what they're trying to be able to utilize is similar to a platform called Acorn. If you guys have not heard of it, it's an app available on the Play Store, App Store, and basically it rounds up. So if you buy a cup of coffee, you go to the bookstore, you get a book, and you spend, as this example, $3.65, it will round up to the next dollar, the change that you have, and that will then get placed onto, for Acorn, it's an investment. That's to invest your money. With Giftcoin, they will use this roundup feature to go to charity. So basically what you want to do is, link up your bank account, and then it'll also link up your credit card statement and be able to see your transactions. So I like this platform. If you have seen my review on ontology, when I talked about the charities, I am very big on charity. I have another channel out there. I'm very big in the gardening community. I grow trees. But I like doing raffles, charity raffles for St. Jude's, about 3 to 4 times a year, either trees or cuttings for trees, because I think, pairing, your loves, your interests with charities is just a great thing. So I think anything with charity is just positive. So hopefully, this kind of platform will take way on the blockchain. Obviously, it is a big step forward, and it will take time. So this is not going to be an overnight success, obviously. But I do believe working with an existing platform, which is Charity Checkout, it will definitely help, because they have about 2,000 contracts already. Utilizing that platform will definitely be a big heads up with it. So, the world's first cryptocurrency for charitable giving and good causes. So, their public sale starts tomorrow on March 20th. Right now, there's a pre-sale going on. So, this is for accredited investors with a 50% discount, which is awesome. You can get whitelisted. And if you go to their whitelisting, it'll give you all the details on the pre-registering for the public sale. For U.S. citizens to invest into this token sale, you must be an accredited investor. This is not applicable for people in the United States. Obviously, as you guys know, a lot of ICOs aren't. So it's not a shock, but it is something I am looking forward to come once this gets released to an exchange. But anybody out there who's not in the United States, I definitely want you guys to take a look at this. Obviously, do your own research, but I will go into the details of this. So basically what it is breaking down for donors. You're basically giving them the absolute confidence that their funds are being used for the purpose of which they're donated, and for the charities, they offer the chance to build trust and confidence via greater transparency, bringing them more money. So obviously, if a charity is giving transparency to donors, they're more likely to donate more, recommend to donate more. There is websites out there. If you go to CharityWatch.org, or Charity Navigator, basically you can look at for most charities, you can actually see the metrics. They take tax forms and other IRS documentations. Here you can see IRS Form 990 and audited information for that tax ID. They can pull what their program percentages, how much of the funds are actually going to the program, and what is their overhead. So the overhead is generally administrative costs. So obviously, the higher the program percentage, the lower the overhead, the better chance your charity is actually giving most of its money away. So here you can see it's a rating of an A. This is the Cancer Research Institute. If you go through this, it actually will make you tear to see some of these charities and how much they actually don't donate to the causes that you want. So, check out CharityWatch.org and Charity Navigator. Here's St. Jude's, as I mentioned. It's one of my favorite, donations that I do personally. But here you can also check where they talk about administrative expenses, fundraising expenses, how much percent, they do a lot of breakdowns. It's really cool, technical mumbo jumbo. If you're in financial industry, you would love this kind of stuff. So very cool project. So what they want to be able to do, and I'll go through the white paper. This is how it works. You discover your project through the app. You make a donation, and this can be through the automation, as I mentioned, through the roundup, and then you can track the impact. So it'll go down through different case scenarios of how it works. There is going to be a minimally viable product, and that product eventually, that's the first step that they're going to have in their roadmap, and that's going to have a very high level of how they're tracking it, because obviously if you're working with a charity in Africa where they're giving out meds, or if they're giving out food and water bottles, they're not going to be able to track the nitty-gritty of what's actually being done. So there's going to have high-level tasks that are get accomplishments, basically a task that, the food got sent there, the meds got sent there, they got distributed. So it's not going to be a full breakdown initially. Obviously, down the road, that is the all-time goal of the project. So it does definitely have a long vision of where they want to see it. And give as you spend. This kind of goes to the piggy bank of, do you trust this person taking your money? And here's a comparison of Giftcoin versus just general other ways of charity. So there's online giving, where you're basically opportunity to help those, but there's not a low commission. There's, I think, 1 to like 5% or 8% commissions that some of these sites take just off the initial. And then selection of trusted charity organizations. So trusted organizations, precise donation tracking obviously is the key goal here. So roadmap. Their first token event, as I mentioned, they are in the pre-sale right now, and they will be doing the public sale tomorrow at 9:30 EDT. July is going to be the minimally viable product release, so meeting all the core requirements for the platform to exercise its purpose, and having the first batch of charity organizations choose from, and you'll be able to fully operate the currency at that point, and that'll most likely be through the charity checkout. September, they will have the beta, which is the full-fledged product that they want every functionality in there. And then by October, they plan to roll out the project. This is the token sale information. So here it talks about the actual details of the actual coin circulation. So this total circulation is going to be 1 billion tokens, which surmounts to, as their cost right now, what they're assuming is about $100 million. The soft cap for their sale right now is going to be 2.5 million, which is very low, and a hard cap of 100 million, which is only 10 million, which is absolutely fantastic, because most ICOs nowadays are aiming for around 25 million. So if they're capping it at 10 million, that's very low, which means there's going to be most likely it'll sell out quicker than most will. That's my general opinion. And then they talk about the bonus. So if you, in your first 24 hours, which is tomorrow, you get a 25%. First week is 15% after that first day, so day 2 through 7. And second week, you have 5%. If you had advanced whitelisted for the public sale, I guess you get a bonus 10% on top of the discount, which is awesome. This is what I thought was really cool, because ICOs, generally when you look at it, and I have had some negative ones that I've talked about or mentioned, use of the proceeds. When you look at an ICO, obviously there have been issues. I believe Tezos was one of those where a lot of the proceeds went to HR payments for the people working on the team. When I think of an ICO, I think of it being a workable product. As a new business, you should always be pushing most of that money right back into the project. So almost 50% is going back into tech development. 30% is going into public relations, marketing, and sales. So trying to get more information out there. There's overhead, admin costs. So this is probably going to be your extra money that they might need, costs to pay some people who might be working on the project, and legal and accounting. So very good breakdown of the proceeds for the ICO sale. I like that. FAQ, then they go into, so their team has a very big project. I'm not going to go into all of them because they have a huge team. Their CEO I do want to mention, because he founded Optimum Health Clinic, one of the world leading integrative medical medicine clinics with patients in 40 countries, and now it's a UK charity. And they're now a part of this project. I believe they're part of the advisory board, and it has also been recognized by the parliamentary review in, I'm assuming, England. But they do have a very good team with a lot of background knowledge, a lot of tech knowledge, a lot of charity organization knowledge, which I think is very, very cool. John Bedos, who is, it doesn't give his actual, he's just a co-founder. I don't know what his actual role is, CIO, CTO. But he also co-founded Safer Technology, which was a security software company, which was acquired by Avast Software in March 2017. Avast being one of the best security antivirus softwares in the country, in the age we're in now. So obviously there's a lot of charity advisors. One is more worldly known, which is John Jaschinski, Jashinsky, world-renowned charity advisor, including he was one of the co-founders for the ALS Buckets Challenge, which most people know about. We also have Chester Morget Sinclair, who's the founder of Charity Checkout, and then you have some charity activists as well. So going into the white page, actually before that, they were just mentioned in an article by The Guardian, which I thought was really cool because The Guardian actually has some pretty good cryptocurrency news. Generally, they're not as skeptical. They're more skeptical when it comes to it. So as you can see here, blockchain is the year's buzzword, but can it outlive the hype? So obviously the jury's out on them. But then they do talk about how, and they mentioned Giftcoin, how small charities such as Ormala, an organization providing yoga classes for refugees, have adopted a blockchain-based platform which tracks each donation's journey and alerts donors to how their money was spent. So as a small charity, we want the public to know that we're using this generous donations not only responsibly, but on the stated cause. So, use cases here. They do have a YouTube page. I would definitely go check it out. There was actually a live stream going on right now. I was able to catch about half of it. They are talking about the project right now. It's an AMA, so definitely check it out if you can. It will be saved on their page, just Giftcoin. So going to their white page, and I'll try to go through this quickly as possibly. I don't want to ramble on, which I generally do. There's a lot of information in here as far as the details of how the project's going to work technically and socially. So what their vision is to create a world in which every time you give money to a charity and good causes, you have total trust your funds are going exactly where you want them. By giving absolute trust and confidence, we believe donors will choose to give more money to the causes they care about, which is totally true. I'd rather give more money knowing that, they're putting 100% into it. At a time of history, seemingly endless natural disasters, the refugee crisis in the Middle East, and a greater divide between rich and poor than ever before, this has never been the better time, basically, for this platform. So if you turn on the news, which I try to avoid because there's just always horrible things going on in the world. There's tragedies, there's crisis, there's so many things happening. There's so many organizations going on. So, obviously it's always a time right now where charities are needed. I talked about the donator and the charity sides. So Giftcoin is about creating transparency and trust. Right now, charity is a one-directional experience. You give the money, you hope it goes to where intended. When you give money with Giftcoin, you have the absolute confidence that your money is going exactly where it's intended. And you will hear that over and over again. So I know I mentioned before $500 billion a year in charitable donations. I know I actually misstated how much nonprofit organizations have in annual income. I said it was the $500 billion in the whole world, but I didn't realize the U.S. nonprofits exceed $2 trillion in annual income. That's crazy. It's a lot of money. So going into the fees section, as I mentioned before, they had that little chart comparing general charity fees. So some charges from Giving.com and Virgin Money, there's fees of 5%, 2% on the initial donation that you make. So they don't even get to see it. And then there's also credit card fees of 1.5%. So you all these compounding fees where they want to be feeless. So the power of the blockchain means that donations in Giftcoin, in addition to the revolution in giving the process that is offered, that it's feeless. So you're making sure that every cent you put into it is going directly to the charity. This is a cool fact. I thought it was really interesting that they got this statistic. So they're basically saying 84% of millennials donate to charity, but only 38% of them believe that a small portion is actually going to the cause. So, they say, indeed, 60% of millennials said that ability to see the direct impact of the donation has a significant bearing on the decision to give. So only 60%, being able to actually make that decision to give because they're not sure if it's actually going to the cause. So luckily it's still 84%, thank God. Building this trust system is really where it comes down to. Being able to track the path of the funds you donate to a charity right up to the point that they were spent. So end-to-end giving. Basically having things on the blockchain, distributed ledger, everything is viewable. So this is kind of going through the end-all process. Like I mentioned before, this is the long-term vision. This might not happen this year, might not happen next year, because some of these organizations can do it if they're available in, where there's internet access, where there's traceability. Third world countries, it's less likely that these things will be tracked day one. There'll be a more minimally packaged path a little bit below, and I'll talk about it. So right now, donation is made to Giftcoin. Transaction is represented on the blockchain. The recipient receives it and then uses the donation to pay for the agreed goods and services, and then pushes those blocks, those transactions, back onto the blockchain, and then showing what they were spent on, and then the record of the purchases is back on the blockchain, and the initial donator can actually see what happened with that money. So with smart contracts, end-to-end giving is long-term vision. This will only be fully possible when those at the end of the value chain, such as workers on the ground, suppliers providing, can be paid in Giftcoin. Although this is technically possible now, it requires greater adoption. So this is where I was talking about. It's a stepping stone. Right now, this is most likely what is going to happen. So a donation is made. Charity is going to be at the same time setting milestones for their projects. When the milestone is reached, it will then go into the blockchain. The donation has been unlocked, and that's when the donator will actually see that. So there will be milestones, and that milestone will then be used on the blockchain. So they do mention it upright, and I do like that visibility. So as I mentioned, the minimally viable product will be out first. Phase 2 is all about integrations. So by integrating with existing end-user systems in recipient countries, we believe we can support the mass adoption we're looking to create. So there are different things that they are looking to be able to integrate with. So one of them is finance solutions for the unbanked, open source financial software. Example is Apache, Fineract, end user software such as apps for feature phones, and low-end Android. So that's a very big thing. Other financial software, charity backend systems, supply chains that can enable pay with Giftcoin options. So integration, obviously, like an API would be awesome. So this is where it gets a little bit more technical. So they feel that proof of work verification is not aligned with their mission. So they go into, for true end-to-end verification in some of our use cases, Giftcoin must work in a semi-offline mode, at least during the early years of adoption. So they're going to be utilizing a off-chain platform as well. So a sidechain to the Ethereum platform where the ERC20 token will be based. So basically, an example is a confirmation or receipt of funds can be made cryptographically secure even in the absence of internet access. For example, as a simple digitally signed transaction, and then it'll be sent to an on-chain transaction where the payment agent returns to network coverage. So basically, this is for where there's no access or very low speed internet. Basically, to address this, they will be making use of a differentiated network topology. So they won't be using proof of work. I want to get more into this. I want to try to get more details. I tried to figure out what system they're going to be using. I'm assuming just with the side chain, they're going to have a dedicated ledger, distributed ledger on the side that will be off-chain, will track it, and will be visible. So the system will need to be able to handle large transaction volumes. And one of the visions of Giftcoin has been to use permission blockchain maintained by nonprofits themselves. That's kind of scary. So, but they do try to, tell people, because of the nonprofits contribute to the maintenance of the network, and we do not want to use proof of work. We would like to be able to provide almost feeless transactions once users are inside the Giftcoin system. Some users will want the trust that comes from using a public blockchain that is outside the control of any one organization and is maintained by the wider community. So our current architecture designed aims to leverage the best of both of these worlds and is detailed below. So if we go below, you'll see that the transactions of the block are hashed and are sent back from the Giftcoin block, which is the off-chain one, and then it'll send back to Ethereum network and then written on-chain along with the hash of the ledger source that was used to create the block. And as I mentioned, any user will be able to see that. So some of the key features: no mining, no proof of work, very high volume, heterogeneous ledger network, not all nodes are equal. That's where it goes into the different owners of the different owners for the permission blockchains. Adapted for networks that have very low bandwidth at the edge. So I think that's a cool part, because you're looking here. So this is the Giftcoin exchange. People buy the actual Giftcoin, and then here you can see there's a side chain. This is going to be their off-chain model, where they have the header, message, all the different things. Once this gets signed, it's going to sign it back to the initial node and then be written and published to the Ethereum blockchain, and then the user will be able to read it. So basically you have the Ethereum network, Giftcoin blockchain, off-chain model, on-chain model, and the signing and public transaction going on here, and then being available to the user. So roundups, as I mentioned, Acorn, they talk about the roundup app here. So as I mentioned, there's simple steps. Basically, user downloads a wallet, links it to their bank account, and they set a maximum amount a month that they want to be able to donate. Each time the user makes purchases, their Giftcoin wallet rounds up the nearest dollar and converts this. So I'm not sure if this is going to be working with a credit card as well as the bank account, or if the bank account can break it down. More details probably to follow. And then donate, and then they can break up to different causes or one, depending on how they want to do. So what is the potential? Small changes, obviously, 25 cents here, 75 cents here. You buy something, a coffee every day, and there's 25 cents. You have that 30 days in a week. You have, quite a few dollars to be able to donate, and that little bit helps. Here's the roadmap, which we went over already, and use of the proceeds, which we went over, which I'm very happy about. Feeless giving, the Giftcoin exchange. So one of the things about the Giftcoin exchange, so the reserves used to support the exchange will be owned and held by the Giftcoin Foundation, an independent entity which will have its own independent oversight committee. Any movements or funds between the foundation and the exchange will be handled via the blockchain and transparent. So all the funds will be available. And the open sale, as I mentioned, between 2.5 and 10 million, very low. And then into the group. So that is Giftcoin in a nutshell. They do have a social media. They are very active on Twitter. I definitely say follow them. I did unfollow them before and then followed them back just to show. And they do have an active Telegram group as well. So definitely check it out. They have almost, getting close to 3,000 members right now. So, definitely check out Giftcoin. Obviously, do your own research. They have a lot of things about their press. They have a video blog that they do as well. So, check it out. Do what you want. As far as researching, obviously, legality of being able to enter an ICO. But I think it's a great premise. I do like the social change of moving things like charities to the blockchain. The transparency aspect of blockchain is really where a lot of things need to go. So I think, as I mentioned, my love for charity definitely lends me to like the project. So the team is good. The project seems worthwhile. Definitely have long-term goals of this. But let me know what you guys think. Shoot me a message. Thank you guys for watching, subscribing. Hope you guys have a great day. All right. Peace, y'all.